Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome to today's live webinar hosted by Deepfake Guard. We're thrilled to have you here. My name is Adam Bobuk, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. It's an honor to guide you through what promises to be a powerful and insightful hour focused on one of the most pressing digital threats facing businesses today, deepfakes and AI-powered fraud. Over the next 60 minutes, we're going to take a deep dive into 4 key areas. What are deepfakes? We'll begin with a clear, concise overview of how AI-generated media manipulation works and why it's becoming increasingly difficult to detect. The enterprise threat landscape. You'll hear about the real risks companies are facing right now, including multi-million-dollar fraud cases and the worrying forecast stretching through 2027. Your defense strategy. We'll introduce you to Deepfake Guard, our advanced AI-powered detection and protection platform, how it can help your business stay one step ahead of this evolving threat. There will be a live Q&A. You'll have the opportunity to submit your questions directly to our expert panel and get real-time answers from the people who work on the front lines of AI defense. Now, let me introduce our incredible speakers. Adam Budai, head of R&D at Deepfake Guard, a leader in innovation and the driving force behind our product development. Csaba Juhász, AI engineer, who will share insights into how our detection models work in practice. And Gergő Bendegúz Békési, AI researcher at the Budapest University of Technology and Economics, whose academic perspective brings a deep research-based understanding of AI-generated media. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping notes. Your microphones are muted by default, but you can submit your questions at any time via the Q&A box. The session is being recorded and we'll share the replay with all registrants shortly after the event. Participation is free, but registration is required. If someone forwarded you this link and you haven't signed up yet, please take a moment to register now. Finally, we invite you to stay connected with us after the webinar. You can find Deepfake Guard on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Make sure to follow us for more updates, demos, and expert content. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now that we've outlined the scope of today's webinar, let's take a look at real-world context, the largest known deepfake scam to date. This case study demonstrates how deepfakes are no longer theoretical, they're already reshaping digital threats in enterprise settings.
In 2024, numerous news outlets reported on a specific cyber attack that occurred in Hong Kong. While over $10 billion in financial losses were reported in the USA alone that year, this particular case garnered significant attention due to its novel and unprecedented nature. For years, cybersecurity experts have warned that video and audio generators pose a security risk to the world, including the protection of financial transactions. In essence, they have highlighted the growing threat of deepfake technology. Recent information indicates that the victim was the Arup company. This firm, headquartered in England, also has a presence in numerous countries worldwide. Arup has played a role in the design of many world-renowned buildings, such as the Sydney Opera House. This video presents a reconstruction, an attempt to illustrate the attack's process based on available information and our cybersecurity knowledge. During the preparation phase of the attack, the fraudsters purchased compromised email accounts from the darknet. The most popular online marketplaces for these, Xleet and Lufix, offer tens of thousands of hacked corporate accounts. Prices typically range from $3 to $20, but the more valuable the company, the higher the price. The attackers knew that the company's headquarters were in England. They identified the company's chief financial officer and other high-ranking, well-known individuals within the organization. These individuals frequently appear in conferences and interviews. Using footage from these appearances, the fraudsters created AI avatars, video and voice, of the chosen individuals. It is possible to control these AI avatars in real time based on the movements of a person sitting in the background, a technique known as puppet master. From a stolen email account belonging to a colleague working in the UK office, a letter and an invitation were sent to the authorized colleague in Hong Kong responsible for money transfers. The appropriate individual was identified via LinkedIn. The invitation to the virtual meeting served to dispel suspicion and provided an opportunity for persuasion. Instructions regarding the transaction were also conveyed during this meeting. The virtual conversation began with a brief introduction from the Hong Kong colleague. The other participants offered only brief introductions, pretending they were well known within the company. During the conversation, the deepfake avatars largely controlled the discussion, avoiding opportunities for revealing questions. Following the conversation, the colleague executed 15 transactions totaling $25 million to 5 financial institutions in Hong Kong. The fraudsters then laundered the money using methods such as money mules, shell companies, and stolen bank accounts to avoid reporting thresholds. Deepfake technologies are also playing an increasingly significant role in the mass opening of online bank accounts used for fraudulent activities. The fraud was only discovered 1 week later.
Before we dive into solutions, it's important to understand how we got here. Deepfake technology didn't appear overnight. It evolved through years of academic research and experimentation. To give us a foundation, let's start by looking at the early stages of this development and how our speakers first encountered the problem. Adam, when did you first realize deepfakes would become a serious issue, and what motivated you to start working on solutions?
Okay, hi everyone. Now bringing up great memories. Personally, I was involved in a deepfake detection project back in 2018 during my PhD at the Budapest University of Technology and Economics. We already recognized the potential of deepfakes and tried to develop countermeasures. That was the time when the famous Taiwan 2 paper just appeared. The quality of the generated faces was remarkable and also worrying. The output of the algorithm still can be viewed on the "this person does not exist" website. Yeah. So in 2017, Mark Zuckerberg himself appeared in a deepfake video uttering confusing sentences. The method employed audio synthesis and facial modifications to align his mouth with the new audio. He considered this a significant threat to public, and in 2018, Facebook launched the Deepfake Challenge in response. The technology has become far more advanced since then. In 2020, we began developing and integrating AI features into the current compliance recorder, our flagship product, which we launched back in 2024. At the beginning, we mostly focused on quality assurance functions with sentiment analysis, transcription, and translation. We also started to witness a rising trend in deepfake-based attacks toward the financial institution, hiring institutions, and other enterprises. Because compliance recording is always part of the enterprise communication, TC&C has a unique advantage by having the compliance recorder in its product portfolio. The compliance recorder receives the communication streams, giving an opportunity to analyze it for deepfakes. At TC&C, we started the Deepfake Guard project in 2023. Since then, we are developing our product focused on deepfakes.
Thank you for that context. It's interesting to see how early your team engaged with this issue, well before it reached mainstream awareness. Since 2018, deepfake technology seems to have advanced rapidly. Could you talk a bit about the major changes you've seen during this period?
So, the underlying technologies went through two major shifts. The first breakthrough arrived with the generative adversarial networks from Ian Goodfellow in 2014 at Montreal University. This was a real breakthrough back then, and I still remember how much we discussed it with our colleagues at the university. We can see examples, images on the left side, produced by the first gun, and just see how much the technology progressed over the last decade. In 2020, a new class of generators appeared called diffusers from the team of Peter Appel. They became the mainstream method behind image and video generators due to their high stability and quality, but at the expense of more computation and resulting in slower generation speed. In 2024, autoregressive methods with similar architecture as large language models were developed for image generation. Their promise is higher quality, less artifacts, and lower execution time. So, to summary, the quality of the audio, images, and video changed dramatically in the last 7 years. The order of the quality improvements are consistent with the amount of available data and the required computation resources. Video files are large, and video generators are computationally burdensome. Their quality is lagging behind the quality of generated images and audios. But with the improvements in the hardware and software design, they are also getting better. The availability of the tools and their prices went significantly lower. Nowadays, you can easily find tools for snapping your face to someone else in real time, directly in your web camera feed. The problem that people know about them and they are enthusiastic to use media generators. Video generators will have a significant effect on video-based communication and authentication in the future.
The technical evolution you just outlined is staggering, but progress in tech doesn't always translate to public understanding. From your perspective, how has public and industry awareness around deepfake threats changed over recent years?
So in cybersecurity, no one thinks the threat is real until they experience it firsthand. In 2018, we have seen very low awareness. We could not even address government bodies. In 2023, we still face a lot of rejections saying this is not a problem they need to worry about. Nowadays, when we visit exhibitions, we found most of the people do not need any explanation what deepfakes are, and we started to see interest and more concerns. To further raise awareness, we educate the people, visit events, and keep presentations. We try to contact as many people as possible. And what is more important, we are preparing to combat deepfakes and developing a defense system.
Now that we've seen the progression of the threat, the next logical question is, what can be done about it? This brings us to Deepfake Guard, an AI-powered platform built specifically to address the detection and prevention of deepfakes in real-time communication. Let's explore how it works, what sets it apart, and how it can be applied across different scenarios. Learning about the issue is clearly essential, but awareness alone doesn't stop attacks. Many individuals and businesses still aren't sure how to react when confronted with a suspected deepfake. Imagine someone encounters what they suspect is a deepfake, maybe during a call or video chat. Practically speaking, what should their immediate response be?
Yes, we heard so many horror stories, especially in the last 2-3 years. Grandparents called by fake acquaintances, criminals impersonated, CEOs, CFOs, account takeovers by fooling the biometric authentication system, and of course, deepfakes of politicians and celebrities. However, we focus on real-time attacks, not on existing deepfakes. So the first thing you should do is to report the incident to us, Deepfake Guard, or other companies and institutions who work on anti-deepfake solutions. All of us will appreciate the information as it helps us to gain more information about the deepfake threat landscape. We use this information to improve and prevent it from happening again. But the best is to avoid the financial and reputational loss by applying the right tools for your company. The problem is that it is becoming more and more difficult for humans to distinguish between the fake and real media. The tool is required to help securing enterprise communication. The webinar will showcase Deepfake Guard, the powerful solution to combat deepfakes.
Knowing what to do is critical, but prevention is even better. Could you give us an overview, without getting too technical, of what users can realistically expect from Deepfake Guard?
Yeah, of course. So Deepfake Guard is a multimodal deepfake detector. So this means we can detect fake audios, videos, and images. We have two major techniques for that. The first one does not require data about the customer or employee to be protected. It analyzes the media based on knowing existing generative methods. The second requires data about the person to be protected, for instance, CEOs, CFOs. This method is based on comparison between the incoming media and the reference dataset. The first has obvious advantage of analyzing unknown callers too. Furthermore, having no data about the people makes it easier to deploy, no need for collecting and storing sensitive data at large scale. The second approach is more accurate and can protect against high-quality impersonation attacks. We can also analyze the transcribed text during the call. Contextual analysis can understand the flow of the communication and can compare it to an existing set of policies. In this way, it can detect if the caller is asking for something that is not permitted according to the company's policy or has legal boundaries. The third component is the deepfake capture. Even the best detectors have weak points and visible artifacts in the right circumstances. Deepfake capture is about to ask the suspicious party for doing something where generators tend to make mistakes with higher probability. For instance, when a human asks to read a 4-digit PIN number, they tend to read it digit by digit. However, machines will most likely read it as a single number. However, as any security system, a deepfake detector can also be analyzed by criminals if they can get access to an instance of it. Tamper resistance means that even if they manage to get access to one of our detectors deployed at an institution, their knowledge will not transfer to other deployed detectors. More precisely, what they learn today at one place will not apply tomorrow at another place. Our purpose is to prevent the financial and reputational losses. Therefore, Deepfake Guard operates in real time. It can monitor the conversations, video calls, and analyzes them. If something is suspicious, it will send alerts, captures, or even interrupt the communication channel. It's also important to mention that we support multiple languages because we want to support different regions across the globe. The threat is global and does not stop at borders. Currently, we support a smaller set of languages like English and Hungarian, but we would like to expand the technology to other languages too. In terms of the accuracy and coverage, to achieve a secure protection, we need two things. High detection accuracy against known detection and generation methods, even in a noisy, realistic communication channel. High coverage of the generators used by scammers, as the second one. Our system is very accurate and media traveling through a real communication channel is over 95%. Our high coverage of generators are ensured by monitoring and researching the field of generators and include them in our database shortly after it appears. However, due to the multi-layered approach, our system can protect against unseen novel detectors, but the guarantees are a bit weaker.
That overview makes clear how comprehensive the platform is. Employee impersonation seems especially concerning. How exactly does your system tackle these kinds of attacks?
The audio and video-based deepfake detector can use comparison with reference data about the potential targets, for instance, by having some data about the CEO. Context analysis can be also helpful to monitor if something is against the company policy. For example, the transaction needs to be reviewed by another person. Context analysis uses the synchronous audio transcription.
Impersonation through live media is just one front. Fake accounts can also cause serious damage. How does Deepfake Guard handle these sorts of threats?
So opening accounts online requires video value verification. This point is becoming more and more vulnerable to video generators. This video deepfake detector can decide if the media is synthetic or not. The deepfake capture can be also used to touch the weak points of the generator and produce videos that are easier to detect by the detector.
What happens if a company is hit by a large-scale deepfake robocall attack? Is there a practical way to defend against this?
Yes, we can use similar components. So the audio deepfake detector will analyze the data is synthetic. The deepfake capture will be used to uncover the audio generator and the underlying language generator. As it can be seen, different scenarios requires slightly different components.
A tool is only effective if it fits the operational environment it's meant to protect. In this next section, we'll look at who Deepfake Guard is designed for, what systems it supports, and how it can be integrated into real-world enterprise workflows. I will now turn to Csaba Juhász, our AI engineer. Let's first talk practically. Who are the ideal users for Deepfake Guard? Which types of businesses or industries should be paying attention here?
Firstly, I would like to welcome all the participants. I have quite a short answer for you. Any enterprise that uses voice or video communication and cares about security or compliance. So we've built Deepfake Guard to be platform agnostic and highly configurable. Whether you're a financial institution, a healthcare provider, or a technology firm, Deepfake Guard is adaptable to your environment. You don't need to change your workflows to adopt it. Deepfake Guard wraps around your existing system and adds a critical layer of protection.
And for organizations interested in adopting Deepfake Guard, what platforms do you currently support?
Deepfake Guard integrates with the communication platforms your teams already use every day, including Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Cisco WebEx, and Google Meet. And we're continuously expanding our support to additional services. We're also actively bringing Deepfake Guard into more specialized environments, such as financial trading, where reliability and rapid response are critical. To support this, we're working closely with manufacturers to integrate Deepfake Guard directly into trading turrets. But it's not limited to call centers or specialized equipment. Deepfake Guard is flexible enough to deploy on virtually any corporate device, whether that's employees' laptops, standard call recording hardware, or embedded directly into your existing enterprise voice infrastructure. We can make it fit seamlessly into your current workflow.
Platform compatibility is one thing, but every organization has its own infrastructure and workflows. What options do clients have when it comes to integrating Deepfake Guard into their existing systems?
Yes, so we can approach this question from multiple angles. Firstly, we support both cloud and on-prem deployments, depending on your specific requirements. If your company has strict compliance or data security needs, our on-premises solution gives you complete control, and you can keep everything inside your own infrastructure. On the other hand, if you're looking for a quick setup and easy scalability, our cloud-based option gets you up and running faster without sacrificing performance. And it's also crucial to mention that with our extensive background in compliance recording, we've already tackled complex environments across multiple industries. So whatever your setup, we've likely handled something similar before. And then to tackle the issue from another angle, you have the flexibility to adopt Deepfake Guard as a fully turnkey solution, which handles the entire pipeline from media acquisition, segmentation, and deepfake analysis, all the way through to real-time alerting, notification management, and optional call intervention. But this option is ideal for organizations that want a comprehensive, ready-to-deploy system with minimal integration effort. But you can also just use our REST API endpoints to plug into your infrastructure for more customization. And it's important to mention that one of our long-term goals is to bring Deepfake Guard's protection directly to individual users through their smartphones. Wow. You know, with deepfake scams and impersonation attempts becoming common beyond enterprise environments, it's clear security needs to be personal and built directly into the devices people use every day.
Wow. Real-time information is crucial in security scenarios. Does your platform provide real-time detection and updates? And how quickly can users expect alerts?
Yes, that's a very relevant question, and I'm glad you brought it up. We realized that deepfake detection doesn't just have to be accurate, but also fast enough so that it can provide real-time updates. It is only logical since a deepfake attack being caught only after the call has been finished would not magically fix the damage caused. This is why Deepfake Guard operates on a near real-time basis. The system is designed to process media streams in short, fixed-length segments, each made is a couple of seconds long. This architecture allows the model to continuously analyze the media and its context as it arrives, without having to wait for the entire conversation to complete. As a result, the only latency introduced is the actual processing time required for each segment, which remains minimal due to the efficiency of our model pipeline and architecture. In practice, this translates into a delay of just a few seconds between when a suspicious audio pattern is spoken or uttered and when the system delivers its first detection verdict.
Speaking of delivery of verdict, how exactly does your system notify users when something suspicious is detected?
Yes, so once a media block has been processed and evaluated by the Deepfake Guard detection model, the resulting classification, including confidence scores, risk indicators, and contextual metadata, is immediately passed to our alerting system for further action. As with all units of Deepfake Guard, we designed the alerting layer to be flexible so that users can adjust result delivery to the requirement of their own environment. This wide range of notification channels includes methods such as SMS, email, and push notifications. And for example, what we already have in our own call recording solution is a window that is overlaid over the call itself with a gauge showing the model's confidence score, letting the agent of their supervisor make or the supervisor make decisions. And then another aspect is who we want to actually receive the alert. So companies can set up policies so that depending on likelihood or contextual clues, different teams can be notified of a suspected deepfake. This means that in low-risk scenarios, alerts may be directed solely to the frontline agents for just situational awareness or minor procedural actions. In cases involving elevated suspicion, such as voice impersonation attempts, requesting access to sensitive systems, or financial transactions, the alert can be automatically escalated to a team supervisor for oversight or approval.
Alerts are one side of the equation, but what about response? Let's now consider an active scenario where a call is already compromised. What can be done if a call is detected as corrupted while it's happening?
Yeah, so as mentioned already, when creating Deepfake Guard, we aim to make multiple options in all situations. So even here for further actions, so that for different threat levels and detection outcomes, organizations always have adequate responses. Administrators can set thresholds for model confidence scores, risk classifications, or contextual red flags, and map each to a specific response workflow. As shown in the previous slide, simple alerting can always be a first step, but in extreme or clearly malicious cases where the risk of continuing the interaction outweighs the value, Deepfake Guard can be configured to terminate the call programmatically and immediately, preventing any potential damage or data leakage. And another one of these actions that Adam has already touched upon is the option to invoke the deepfake captcha challenge or task, which is sort of a second layer verification mechanism designed to test whether the caller can perform a task that a synthetic voice typically cannot. So Adam has mentioned the example of digits being read out, but we could also list trying to produce more emotional speech or nonverbal sounds such as laughing or crying. These areas are typically ones where current voice generation models still struggle. This method allows agents or other employees not to have to discontinue the call, yet still be able to identify whether the other party is a genuine human or deepfake.
Let's now discuss the collaborative efforts behind Deepfake Guard and why joint research development projects are essential for keeping up with the threat landscape. So I'm going to now pass the word over to Bendegus.
Thank you. I also greet everyone warmly, and I'm really thanked to be here. Well, at universities, many well-trained researchers are working, and importantly, they have access to this scientific knowledge, which is really fresh, and especially in the field of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and telecommunication. So it is really important for us to cooperating in such a project. And developing algorithms for deepfake detection is a highly research-intensive thing. So a strong scientific background is required at this field. So for Deepfake Guard, this project, our task is to make more accurate detectors and to adapt these technologies to the latest generators. Understanding the technical structure of these generators related to the detectors are very important, and I believe university can add the real value to this project.
So does this mean that the research tasks are mainly the responsibility of the university, while the development tasks fall more to the industrial side?
Well, this is not so strict, but yes, the main directions are these. We at the university can contribute by the know-how, by providing models, providing testing protocols, prototyping environment, and from the industrial side, the market demand and the validation environment can be provided. So in overall, this consortium have a good opportunity to connect the industry needs with this scientific approach. So in the case of Deepfake Guard, our task is to improve the detector's performance, to be prepared for unseen generators, and we can think with the head of an attacker and prepare for the generators that can appear in the near future.
And can the knowledge gained from the project be utilized in education later on?
Yes, the gain knowledge can be directly used in the education in most cases, for example, across practical examples, use cases, teaching materials, and by that we can keep up to date our training materials. We can make the students be prepared for the latest technological challenges, and they can be better workers in the working industry once doing these courses, which are built on such innovations as it is carried out here. And in this deepfake project, for example, which is specifically interesting, is the watermarking technology, which is not just an innovative, research-intensive subject, but also a very applicable thing in the industry. For example, it can be used as a protective noise against generators, and it can be also used for verification and validation of content. So it is really good and really applicable in the university.
Right. Beyond core detection and alerting, there are other dimensions to this work, like education, training, and scenario testing. We'll take a look at how Deepfake Guard is being used for broader awareness, staff readiness, and even internal security audits. So everything discussed so far addresses threat detection and mitigation, but a system like this has potential beyond crisis response. Are there additional use cases where TC&C can provide strategic value to an organization? And I'll bring this back to Csaba for this question.
Yes, this is also quite a relevant topic. So beyond real-time protection, Deepfake Guard is also a valuable tool for internal training and awareness. It's not just about stopping threats as they happen, it's about preparing people to recognize and respond to them before they cause damage. One important use case is internal penetration testing. So TC&C can generate controlled deepfake attack scenarios, simulated calls using synthetic voices, to see how well employees follow procedures when confronted with impersonation or manipulation. And tests like these are especially useful for identifying weak spots in workflows, gauging how staff react under pressure, and reinforcing security protocols through real-world examples.
And finally, how are you approaching the challenge of increasing awareness about deepfake threats within organizations?
We've also developed a tool called the Deepfake Investigator, which takes a different approach. It's not even a tool, I would call it a game that challenges users to spot the difference between real and fake voices. It's quite simple in concept, but incredibly effective. We've run it at 2 industry conferences already, and the outcome was clear. Most participants struggled to tell the difference. Even experienced professionals had quite some difficulty, and that was kind of the point, to show in a direct and memorable way that deepfake detection isn't something humans are naturally good at. The technology has outpaced intuition, and you need proper tools in place.
Yeah, I've played the game too, and it was almost impossible for me. So now I'm gonna switch it over a little bit to the business side of things. So let me walk you through how our software can be purchased. We offer 3 main packages: basic, professional, and enterprise, depending on your organization's size and needs. Each package includes a different level of functionality and support. For example, the enterprise plan offers full features, premium support, and API access, while the basic plan is ideal for smaller teams with essential needs. Our pricing is flexible and depends on several key factors. First, the number of extensions or channels you require. Second, the specific functionalities you wish to use. Some modules are optional and only activated when needed. Third, the type of usage, whether you're only using it for voice recording or full integration, for example, with Microsoft Teams. And finally, the subscription period, whether it's an annual plan or a multi-year agreement. For all these reasons, we always recommend requesting a custom quote so we can provide a tailored offer based on your exact needs. And now I'd like to switch over to the Q&A side of things. I see some of you have already submitted questions, so I'm going to go over to that. Okay, so I see from Gabor, he's asking, how much data is needed from a person in order for your product to protect them from an impersonation attack? And I guess I'll pose this question to Adam or Chaba, whoever.
Yeah, okay, I can answer the question for Gabor. So, yeah, it depends on the circumstances actually, but I can give you an upper threshold, for instance. It can be like 30 minutes regarding audios, but sometimes it can be less, 5 or 6 minutes. Java, can you add something else?
Yes, I guess maybe it's worth mentioning that when text-to-speech system is being trained to impersonate someone else, it's also kind of the same amount of data that's needed. So from minutes, ranging from minutes to about like half an hour, and we need the same amount of data when we try to detect them.
Great. And then I see another question from Joseph. How long does it take before Deepfake Guard notifies you? And I think Chubba, you can answer this the best.
Yeah, so I kind of touched upon this already. So the way we work right now, we take 8-second long segments during the call to analyze them. So we always have to wait 8 seconds at the start of the audio or video, so the media, for the first evaluation results or detection results to come in. But afterwards, it's a continuous process. So I would say that it takes 8 seconds basically, and afterwards it's more or less real time what we provide.
Mm-hmm. Great. Then we have another one from Sarah. How accurate is the model when dealing with poor sound quality? That's a good one. I think Adam and Chubba, I think you guys.
I'm happy to answer. So the way we train our model, we paid quite a bit of attention to make it as resilient and robust in all scenarios as possible. So our training data included data with background noise, data with quite a lot of additional manipulations and also reduce quality so that when it's deployed in real world scenarios where there are people talking on phones, we can be ready for any sort of artifacts or any bad quality audio or video.
Great. And then from Felipe, how resilient are watermarks against media manipulation? I think Bendegus, you were talking a little bit about this.
Sure. Yes, that's a really good question. Thank you. So when these generators are created by researchers usually applies kind of watermarks to let the models be detectable later by if someone would like to use these generators for fraud purposes, for bad purposes, it is good to implement something like watermarking in these open source models. So researchers preparing these watermarks to be resilient against upsampling, downsampling, and such operations. So they are quite resilient, and after these operations, deepfakes are detectable. So yes, they are quite resilient.
Great, thank you. And then we have another one from Derek. Does the caller's age, gender, etc., affect the accuracy of the model? Well, that's a good question. I think either of you two.
So the answer is very similar to the other one. They asked about the poor quality. So training data also contains several ages, gender, insights. So we are well prepared for that. Everything is representative in the data set, so it's not a problem.
Great. I think that is the end of the Q&A. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope this session helped you understand the growing risks of synthetic media and how Deepfake Guard can empower your organizations to stay one step ahead. If you'd like to learn more, ask for a demo, or explore partnership opportunities, feel free to reach out to us. Stay vigilant, stay protected, and see you next time. Thank you so much.